Welcome to The Sear Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Raphael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at The Sear Show.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent. And how are you doing this fine morning?
Exceptional, getting better every day.
Always. I love it.
Yeah. I love the topic that we're talking about today, the influence factor. And can I tell you, the person that's in the green room right now is such a great influence and a great friend. And it's been too long since we've spoken to her. So I am excited to bring her on. I mean, when you listen to this young lady, wow, power is coming through. So let's not waste any more time. Michelle Lee, come on down.
Hi.
There she is.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sifu. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And Sifu, can I just tell you, every time your beginning intros, I love them. They get me so fired up. I'm like, oh, so much energy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Energy is important, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what do you think about the influence factor? Because you are an influence factor. I opened up the dictionary and your picture was there.
I love it, Sifu. Well, everything comes down to how we can communicate, right? How influential are we when we're having conversations? Because we have to be able to truly connect with the people around us. And in order to do that, we need to level up ourselves.
Yes.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So you said we need to level up ourselves, and that's a very interesting fact. But how do we do it? Nikki, I'm going to ask you before I ask Michelle. How do you level yourself up?
Well, when I was thinking about this topic, my first thought was that influence starts within. We've got to be able to influence ourselves before we could influence others. And I think one way that we level that up is to pay attention to what we say to ourselves, that self-talk. And I think it starts with that. It starts with being aware of what am I telling myself? What am I believing? And I've got to start there. I've got to level that up first and be able to focus on what is the outcome that I want? What is my intention? What is important to me? Mm-hmm. And from there, you have solid ground to stand on.
What? Love that answer. Michelle?
Well, I agree with Nikki. Like everything starts within yourself. The only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control anything else. You can control how you react or respond to something, but we're made beautifully. And we talk about the bank code, right? Which unlocks your core values. And in order to maximize and optimize yourself, the goal is to increase your ability in each of those different places, right? Because you're leveling yourself up and being able to tap into the things you need, which probably are the things you're needing the most. Mm-hmm. To really grow your business and have a more fulfilled life. So when we look at each different person, we need different things. We need communicated differently, loved differently, different gifts, all of those different things based on what's important to us, right? In order to be influential, we need to be able to take our lens off with high emotional intelligence and look at the world through the person or people
Mm.
through their lens, so that now we have more influence, more impact. We're able to talk to or speak the language of everyone.
Yes.
I love that. I also love ditto for both of you. Okay, how's that?
I love it.
So when Nikki, you talked about self-talk, and in the old days when we saw people talking to themselves, we thought, man, they're crazy, right? Now somebody has their earphones on and they're talking, whether they're shopping, pushing a cart or whatever, and they're talking like, oh, they must be on the phone, right? And it's pretty interesting because now what I say is if you're arguing with yourself, there's an issue, but you have to resolve it, right? So don't argue with yourself, discuss it. And when I heard somebody actually having a, so there's two ways people communicate. One is outwardly, where they say it so they can rehear it, so it kind of reinforces something. And the other one is without sound, right? So we're talking internally. And I overheard somebody speaking out. They didn't know I was in the other room, and I kind of heard them. And I kind of peeked, and there was nobody else in the room, but they were trying to resolve an issue, and they were speaking it out. And I thought, that's really cool, interesting. And no, they're not nuts. So it was really interesting for me to hear it, but they were hearing it. So sometimes when you say something out loud, it's being said multiple times. One, internally, because it's your voice. Second, it's coming back in. So you're throwing it out and it comes back into you. So it reinforces what you're thinking, but now reinforces what you're hearing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
So go ahead, Nikki.
No, I was going to say, Michelle, you can go first.
Well, okay, so some people, the way they're wired, they have to process thoughts out loud, right? And so, Stifu, when you look at my bank code, right, I get stressed out, I go right to K, and I will start to talk to myself because I need to get what's in my head out. And the only way I can process it is being able to actually speak it out loud. And when people, like before, my husband used to try to solve my problem or try to like give me his opinion of things, and it would literally anger me. I would be like, why are you interrupting my thought process? I need to get what's in here out. I'll solve my own problem. No need to help, right? But now he understands that that's how I have to process that information. And so each one of us, under different circumstances, right, our values can shift, and we need different things to tap into to survive or to get through whatever it is we're trying to get through.
Yes. Yeah, I have the same stress, that my third code is K also. And when I get stressed, I don't want advice unless I ask for it, but I get annoyed too if people just give it and it's unwarranted. It's like, I want to get it out of my head by myself. I either write it out on paper, in a journal, or I'll speak it out loud, or I'll tap it out as I'm saying my thoughts out loud. But that's what I need to do to process what's going on in here.
Yeah, absolutely, Nikki. Sifu, you're muted.
You're on mute.
You're saying amazing things too. I can tell.
That was internally, right? I'm just kidding. So I was so excited when you first came on that I forgot one thing. And it goes to show that we don't always resolve everything because of our excitement sometimes. And I forgot to tell you to put your contact information in the chat so we can share it across. So when you get a chance, do that.
Yes.
So for me, it's really interesting because I do internalize everything. I don't necessarily speak it out, but I write it out. So there's a third method. So I literally, I'm not kidding, I have notes everywhere, right? But I also have my Remarkable too, where I take a lot of notes. I put everything in there. So there's different ways that we can become the influence factor in the world we live in, right? Because I always believe every one of us lives in their own little world. I live in mine, Nikki, Michelle, you do. But now we have to share our world with the outer world, right? The world we live in. And I think it's interesting that now we can become an influence. We don't have to be an influencer, have 10,000 TikTok videos and so forth, and do the little dance that they do on TikTok. I'm just kidding, right? Um, but that TikTok, that's what it started with, and now it's way bigger. So there's a lot of businesses on there. There's a lot of different things, and it's interesting how people now are seeing people as an influencer, and these people are making mega bucks because of what they're sharing. So they actually had to do the internal first before they put it out. They had to get over themselves, is what I'm really saying. Because a lot of times it's shame and guilt that stops us from influencing someone else. Because what are they going to think of me?
Right.
How do I look? Do I look silly? Do I? And if you don't care, you don't care. You just get out what's in here because the world needs what you have.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I one of the things when I do get in my own head, because even though I teach people how not to do that, I still do it myself. One of the things, like a one question that just stops it, is I say, "What's important here?" You know, and then that helps redirect my focus onto what's important, basically.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nikki, you know, having, oh, go ahead, Sifu.
No, ladies first, always.
I was going to say the most important piece, right, is having the self-awareness. Where am I showing up? How am I showing up? How can I reframe or tap into whatever I need to push myself through whatever I'm going through?
Yeah, and we can do that with questions by asking ourselves questions instead of just arriving at, a dead end statement is what I call it. Like, I don't want people to, think what I have to say doesn't matter. Well, what do I do with that kind of a statement? How is that helpful? So going to a question like, what's important for me to share? What might people need to hear right now? And then being quiet and listening to what comes up, because we do know a lot more than we give ourselves credit for.
Oh, for sure. And we have to be able to communicate in a way that other person understands. That's the power of influence, right? We got to meet them where they are and speak to what's important to them. And a lot of times what happens is people are speaking from what's important to themselves instead of communicating in that language that the other person needs to hear to get the results and have that conversation, right? Even with conflict, how do you talk someone down out of that conflict? How do you not judge and be able to take your lens off, look at the other person? Each person speaks a completely different language and needs things differently than we may need.
Yeah. What do you find, Michelle, is like for the people out there listening who maybe don't know their bank code or somebody else's code? Where can they start with understanding the lens somebody else might be looking through?
Well, the first step is to crack their own code, right? And they can do that for free, and they'll get a report all about themselves because they have to understand where they're coming from. There's 24 different combinations based on someone's bank code, which means every time somebody goes out there to speak, they have a 4% shot of connecting and getting a yes. That means 96% of the time it's going to be a no. The odds are not set up in our favor. So when you can crack the code and you can understand in less than 90 seconds how you need to shift and adjust and communicate with that person, that's what's going to give you the influence factor, right?
Yeah.
It's otherwise you're just guessing. And you're going to get those results of just guessing. And a lot of times people are like, well, I'm really good at guessing someone's where they're coming from or doing the chameleon, right? Dancing, matching. And I'm like, that's fantastic, but we're still guessing. And you're going to get those kinds of results, right? So how do you master those skills? Because everybody works with people. They communicate with people every day. It's just being able to truly understand, not change who you are as a person. You are still the same person. If I go to a foreign country, I'm not going to expect everybody to adapt and speak my language. I'm going to learn the language of the people, because let's face it, if I go in there speaking English and they all speak Spanish, doesn't matter how loud or slow I talk, no one's going to understand anything. They may smile, right? But there's nothing.
That's a great example of somebody speaking a different language. You could talk all you want for as long as you want, as loud as you want. They're not going to understand. So yeah, that's the first step. Crack your code, and it only takes 90 seconds to do it.
I love getting no's.
You love getting no's?
Yeah.
What about it?
Let's get it right out of the way. Right? So if you imagine I drove 10 miles and my destination is 12 miles and I hit a roadblock, do I go all the way back home? Oh, too bad. I only got 2 miles left. There's a roadblock. That's the no. Well, why is it a no? What's it going to matter? What's this? What's that? So you talked earlier about, Nikki, about questions, right? That's where the questions come in. So I rather get a no, because the no tells me that there's some pushback. And pushback is going to allow me to know where you stand. If you just yes me, I hate yes people. Oh, I'm telling you, I don't like it at all. Don't yes me to death. That means that you're not even listening. But if you give me a no, oh, now we can have a real conversation. Why is it a no? For anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I'm sure you ladies have been asked out plenty of times, right?
Yes.
When you decided to ask, to say yes to that person, maybe it was a no at first. You'd be like, no, I don't know about this person. And then they persisted, and therefore that's why you're married, right, Michelle? And you've had relationships, I've had relationships, Nikki, and sometimes, listen, for a guy, it's not normal back in the day to be propositioned to go out on a date. But even when I was younger, people used to ask me out all the time. And I was a little bit taken back. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. But no, thank you. Or because they were not my type.
Right.
But if that was the only thing, then yeah, it was a no. And thank you. I really appreciate it. But if it was a maybe, well, do they really want to ask me out? Or maybe somebody put them up to it. Because I want to know the origin. So I'm very inquisitive, by the way.
Yes, we know, Steve.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always, I've done what you were talking about, where I wasn't interested in saying yes to the guy to go on the date, but I felt bad or I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I said yes initially, and then eventually had to say, I feel more like a friend vibe after he invested some time. And I've been told I would have preferred you just told me no from the get-go. And as I've matured over the years, I feel the same way. I would much rather you just, because to me, tell me no, you're saving me time, and I value my time. So I appreciate the no as well.
Yeah. That was a full sentence.
Yes.
And so is yes.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we consider the influence factor, and you talked about it, Michelle, the way you show up, the way you dress, the way you enter a room even. So many people cowered into a room. They're like, they come in, they kind of hide, I don't know anybody, and they become like a little mouse, and hopefully there's some cheese in the corner, and they'll go to look for the cheese. So I say walk into a room like you own the damn place, right?
Well,
Or as you belong, not necessarily like I'm it, not like that, but more of I belong here anyway. And when you learn to be able to do that, then you put everything aside, and then you can actually enjoy yourself. You can enjoy the people. And that's how you become an influence, I believe, by allowing yourself to be open to have conversations that you normally wouldn't have because you came in open. But a lot of people come in closed, and that's showing up, right? It, and you could be really well dressed, but you could still come in closed. Like, I'm not. And then all of a sudden, people think, like, oh, you're too good for me. And they won't approach you, they won't talk to you because of your facial expressions. You're like,
Yeah, well, absolutely. But see, everybody works off of their operating system, right? So remember earlier I said you have to like tap into those different pieces of you. Well, the action piece of people is the one that's going to walk in confident, charismatic, like full of energy, like, yeah, let's do this, right? Where the other way people are wired, they don't feel comfortable in those situations, or they don't like to go into like a networking group or places that are social places, right? They have to or know they have to, but they're not comfortable in it, which is going to be that person who's kind of sitting back like, I don't even know what to do. So there's ways that you can, again, optimize yourself by being able to tap into those things that you need, but you might stay away from because they're like your poison.
and not everybody is going to walk into a room full of confidence. But then why even show up?
Yeah, but see, and again, so Sifu, right? That's the way their operating system is. It's like a Mac and a PC. They don't know how to do it any other way unless someone can train them to be able to use the other pieces and tap into them to be able to do it. So a lot of times, when you look at that social piece or walking into that room with that confidence, there's a lot of different things that can come into play. Like they could go into stress, they could overthink things, they could just be wired that way where they're like, I'm showing up and waiting for something to happen, right? I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, but I don't really want to talk to people. Or they want to only talk to individuals who, like, one-on-one, they're good, but groups, they're not good. Different people based on their wiring dress a certain way. But that's the point of it, right? Because automatically when somebody walks into a room, the rest of the people, all the people, right, are going to look at that person, and it's human nature to automatically judge them based on what they're wearing, their facial expressions, the tone they use, the words they use, the words they don't use. If they're too animated, right? If they're not animated. No, but people are just all wired differently. So being able to look at, wait a second, hey, I'm not going to judge this person. Instead, I'm going to love on this person. What do they need? There's people who are super high nurturing who are going to hug everybody in that room. And there's other people who are like, why are you touching me? I don't want to be touched. Okay? If I get stressed out and someone tries to give me a hug, I'm like completely like, get away from me. Why are you even touching me? You're in my space. Where normally it wouldn't bother me. But understanding like, hey, people are fascinating. So how can we all help each other improve? How can we all bring the judgment down? Start loving on people more. Everybody matters, and every single person's operating system is so important because without them, we wouldn't have all the things we have. We have a purpose and a mission. I believe in God who gave us these amazing tools, right? So we can tap into all four of them. And that's how we can optimize ourselves and grow each day. As we sit, we might have really high strengths that we're really good at. Maybe we're just analytical and we don't like to talk to people or go into those situations, right? Or maybe we're wired in a way that we show up and like rock the room. But either way, we have to be able to look at people for who they are and love them there. Say, okay, I get you.
Yeah. When you were saying what you said, and I agree 1,000% with you. I'm wearing pink, right? So I'm like, huh, what if I walk into the room and I'm cotton candy? I am sweet, I'm sticky, and I don't look, and everybody's going to want to come to get a piece of me, right?
Yeah.
And so if I walk into a room and I'm cotton candy, I'm going to get a lot of love. So it's how you envision yourself even before you walk into the room, I believe as well, because a lot of times if we go somewhere, right, and the reason I say cotton candy is because some people will invite their spouse to an event, and they go, well, you're my trophy wife, or you're my trophy husband, and the person doesn't even want to be there at all, and they're miserable, and the other person has to go because it's a business function, and all of a sudden there's this tension between them two. I don't want to be here. Why'd you make me come? Instead of saying, hey, you know what, Nikki, you said it earlier, my time is so valuable that if I made the decision to show up, let me make the most out of this. Yeah, this is not my, listen, I don't know. If I go to an event with my spouse or my partner or whatever, and they're an optometrist, I don't care about eyewear, but they care about eyewear. So let me go and support them in a way that, yeah, I'll listen to people talk about eyewear. Yeah, the frames and all the cool, good. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that information. And now I'm part of their world, and I'm enjoying myself because I didn't let myself get hurt or fight back. Where I'm not supporting them if I just show up. I support them if I show up and be interactive.
Right.
That's how I believe it.
Yeah. And it
that's
sounds
so
like,
awesome.
yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say that I heard a lot of when you were talking Sifu, what the things you were telling yourself, right? You were telling yourself better feeling thoughts, and also just setting the intention. If I'm gonna take the time, invest the time to show up, I might as well make the best of it. So your intention was to make the best of it. Goes a long way, intention.
And we all have choices, right? So we can choose to go into it with a great mindset. There's opportunities everywhere, whether it's an opportunity to learn something new, an opportunity to meet someone new, an opportunity for, you just don't know, right? But if you go into it with an open mind and the ability to really choose to be happy, just when you go into things, whether it's something you want to do or you're supporting your spouse or whatever that is, if you go in with a great attitude, like I love Sifu that you said cotton candy, right? Like you put yourself in this mindset of like, hey, like I'm going in there, I'm gonna be sweet, sticky, and get all kinds of love. I love it. But it's how you go into it. The mindset piece is huge.
Mm-hmm. It is huge.
Yeah. I think the influence factor is how do we, and you said it initially, Nikki, how do we influence ourselves? How do we hype ourselves up so we can influence ourselves to, hey, you know what? I have to go to this event anyway. Let me pump myself up. Let me look in the mirror and go, you are a superstar. We're going to be incredible tonight. And love on yourself, because if we don't love on ourselves, it's going to be hard for anybody else to love on us. So I think it's the most important thing is if you're going to go to an event and you're not 100% happy, either you don't go in it, but if you make the decision that you're going to go, you have to start influencing yourself from the minute you said yes. The minute you said yes, I'm going to this event. Oh, I'm not a scientist. Why am I going to this event? Well, you're the scientist. I'm not the scientist. But the minute you say yes, I'm going to go, oh, imagine if I was there with a lab coat. Everybody would want to talk to me,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
protector and the whole deal. So now, all of a sudden, you gamify it,
Yeah.
right? And if you gamify it, look, the influencers who are making a lot of money on all these different platforms is because they gamify who they are.
Hmm.
So why don't we learn from them? Look, Mr. Beast, how much money does this guy have that he gives away so much?
Mm.
And then you have other people who they do a dance or they do a thing and it's something funny, and all of a sudden they have 1 million followers. It's because they put themselves out there,
Right.
right? And they gamify it. Right? So
Yeah.
let's gamify our lives because we can have more fun with a game.
Yeah. I love that idea of gamifying and putting that image in your head. Because sometimes it's hard to get around the thoughts, right? If we're having some negative thoughts. So, thinking of yourself like cotton candy, or I'm going to go in like a doctor and have a lab coat. And, that helps to get around the thoughts. And another thing that I'll do when the thoughts are overpowering, I'll move my body. So I'll just do a Wonder Woman pose, or, do the victory, or just, do 10 jumping jacks and say, I love myself. I love myself. It just changes my state. And I could bypass the thoughts that are, not supporting me.
You should love yourself, for
Yes, of
sure.
course.
And you don't need the jumping jacks, but it doesn't hurt.
Moving the body, yeah, right. It helps to change the state when I change my physiology.
Yes. And that's so important, right?
Mhm.
I always tell somebody if they walk by McDonald's or any fast food place, and before they go in, they should do some jumping jacks and then decide, do I really want to go to this place? What is this place going to do to me, right? And then maybe you won't go in. That's just a little advice for anybody who's having an issue with their weight and they don't understand why. It's because you're not doing the actions. So move your body every day and move your body before you make a bad choice. You may decide not to do the bad choice.
Mhm.
That's great advice.
It is.
I mean, can you imagine you drive by and you see people in front of a fast food place doing jumping jacks? I'm like, yes, that's a win.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, before you go into one of those places, whether I'm not going to start naming them because I drive by them all the time. I think from my house to one of my businesses, I think, and it's only a 7-minute drive. I think there's 8 places.
Wow.
I know.
Yep.
And it's crazy. Some of them are right next to each other, and it's nuts. And I'm like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I drive by and I see people doing jumping jacks?
That would be cool. I would
And
join
then they
that.
walk away. They get back in their car.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one way to influence yourself.
For sure.
So influence factor,
Yeah.
we all have it. How do we get it out? How do we, and we talked about this already. We start with ourselves. But how do we influence someone else? Once we started with ourselves, now how do I influence somebody? Like to do jumping jacks in front of a fast food place. How do we get them to do it, right? How do we get them to do the right thing if we believe this particular item is the right thing? So a lot of people, that's where, and Michelle, you talked about it earlier, we can only influence ourselves. We can manipulate people to do certain things, but do you really want to be that? Right?
So, Sifu, you can influence others without manipulation. It's being able to speak the right language. So, when you look at somebody's bank code, their first position is that's how much influence they have with that code. If they line up with somebody that's that code, right, they can influence that person. Like the Tally Group study, right? Only 18% of buyers would buy from a salesperson that didn't match the personality versus the 82% success rate. When you look at that, it's how your code lines up and how high you are in each one of those bank code positions. That's how influential you are with those codes, right? If you're above 20 with our advanced assessment, your influence factor is higher in that code. If it's low, then your influence factor for that particular code is not high. So when you're communicating your message, if you're communicating in a language that other person understands, that's what gives you the influence. If you're communicating from your own perspective, your own code, you're never going to be able to influence the person across from you. It's like you're speaking a completely different language. But what you said is so important. Influence without manipulation. That's the key. And that's why what we train people to do is be able to understand exactly how to speak that language and not manipulate, instead connect and empower each other. That's where the power comes.
Yeah. There is power in that, right? Let me share this video with you guys. Take a look.
Unify leadership.
This is what we do, man. This is what we live. This is our calling. And you walk away with a working document, something that you could hold, that's intangible, that you could utilize, man, wherever you are on the journey. This is not for one specific element. This is for real leaders to grow that leadership acumen, to be better in the home, be better in your community, be better in your workspace, be better in your organization, your teams, man.
If you feel you have no value after day one, we'll give you your money back.
Indeed. 100%, bro.
That's how we stand behind what we believe in.
Unify leadership. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spot. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm. Unify leadership.
I'm kidding. I ended it early, but so yeah, unified leadership. It's about unifying people, right? Leaders, because a lot of people are leaders and they don't even know it. Right? Every day when you wake up, you make a choice. How is your day going to be? And if you make no choice, somebody else will make it for you. So that's important.
Yeah,
And that's
very
the
much so.
influence. Right? Having a calendar, understanding what's going on. When I reached out to you, Michelle, and I said, can you be on the show? You're like, absolutely. And I appreciate that, right? Because you made a decision, right? You said yes, full sentence.
Well, she's in action first, so yes, she's got to make a decision first.
Absolutely. I was all in.
Well, and we love having you, so thank you. I'm enjoying this conversation because the more we think about the influence factor, the more, and anybody who is listening now or will finish out the show later on if they have to go or come back or whatnot, consider sharing it with somebody who may need to understand that they too are an influence. Every day, we choose our day. Don't get me wrong, things are going to go wrong, but things are going to go right as well. And sometimes you'll be happily surprised with what happens in your day. But if you allow everything else to happen to you, you're the only one to blame. So you should plan your day so you can influence your day. And I think that's the influence factor. Having a calendar helps your influence. What are your thoughts on that?
On having a calendar?
To influence your day.
To influence your day. Yes, having a calendar, which I do the old fashioned, I handwrite so I can follow it. And in addition to having a calendar, which also helps to influence me, is making like a checklist. So and I did this yesterday. I had a bunch of things rolling around in my head. I got to get back to this person. I got to get this done. I got to make this video. And I said, I'm going to put 3 of the most important things on a piece of paper so I can influence my actions and my decisions. And I said, I committed to, I'm going to complete these 3 items first before I do anything else. So the calendar and the list of things that are important to get done,
A
influence me to stay on track.
Well, absolutely. And if you don't have a calendar, I mean, you a calendar is, I live by my calendar, right? If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So I also like to start out, because a lot of times it's hard for people to commit to having a calendar if they feel it takes their freedom away, right? So what I like to tell people is put in the things that you want to do first, like for yourself, for your family. Like and work around that and schedule the things around it. But have a calendar. There's some people who don't even have like a Calendly link, right? Like, how do you book appointments? Like, how do you keep things straight? I don't understand.
I have so many calendars, it's crazy. But my calendars talk to each other.
Yes.
So I set it up so the calendars know, oh, you can't do it. You already have something. Blah, blah.
Mhm.
So when I give somebody a link to have a conversation with me, it's if somebody else took it, that spot is gone.
Mhm.
That's how I control. And then also, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's a happy moment because I was like, oh man, I am bombarded today with calls. And somebody reschedules. I'm like, oh, I get a little extra time.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, that's good. So now I can do a little dance, and then I can do this, I can do that. But then I get back to my protocol, right? All my calls or whatnot. And so even my fiance she'll go, show me your calendar. I'm like, why? What do you need? She goes, just, where is it? Let me have it. So I give her the calendar. And then she goes, I said, what did you need? She goes, no, I took care of it. I'm like, oh. So now I got to go look at my calendar, see if she didn't.
See what changes you made.
No, she didn't change anything. She added something when it was available.
I see.
So she's pretty clever in that regard, because a lot of times she'll know how busy I am, but then she'll know that I also have time. And so she'll schedule something when I have time. And so she's taking into account, so I didn't know about it, right? And she looked at my calendar first to make sure I was available to take it to this concept. I think that was really clever on her part. And I will never stop her from looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's the only one person that can add stuff to my calendar without me necessarily knowing, because I'm going to do it anyway, right? Because I know it's a benefit to me, right? But I cannot give out my calendar to everyone.
Right.
So they can schedule whenever they feel like it. My calendar's set, so it's a set time that somebody can choose, not whenever they want. Because if I have a client in Asia, they may want to schedule at 9 a.m., which is 3 a.m. for me, or 2 a.m. or whatever. Or I've had clients in Australia, and then what winds up happening is like, hey, we're 14 hours ahead or behind or whatever it is. I don't even know any. Because I use a world, what do you call that? World timer or whatever, to figure out when we have to do things, right?
Right.
So sometimes, yeah, they may have to get on at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And maybe 6 a.m. for me. But if it's 6 a.m. for me, they can do 9 o'clock. So it just works out.
That was a great example that you gave, Sifu, of how your fiance understands your language, and she honored that by saying, let me have your calendar, and then she looked to see when you had free time and then scheduled herself in. Right, Michelle? That's the knowing someone's code and honoring it in real time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She's a straight up K.
He's a K.
I think she's 4 Ks. I'm telling you, K, all the way through. But she's so organized. She's so thoughtful of everything, and it's really good, right?
Yeah.
We work well together. So because of calendars, guess what? I have a show coming up shortly, another one. So we're going to have to end, unfortunately. But Michelle, what an honor to have you with us. And do me a favor, don't hesitate to come back. We'd love to have you again.
Absolutely. It's been an honor to be here. I appreciate both of you so much. And I hope you have an amazing day.
Well, before we let you go, we're going to put your information across and tell us what somebody can. You have 45 seconds. What can somebody expect when they do connect with you? I mean, you have so many different things going on, crack your code and all this stuff. So tell us the one that you want people to join you.
So they can connect with me on LinkedIn. Obviously, crack your code. That's the first step. Once you crack your code, I'll be happy to go over that report with you, let you know what that means. And with that, we can all connect and empower humanity together. It all starts with you.
It does. Yes, love it. Love it. Nikki, you're up.
Yes, it does. And I'll just say that cracking my code has helped me not only to influence other people, but also to have more patience and compassion for myself, because I understood myself better and things that I would do and say made more sense. So go crack your code. It's a great thing you could do for yourself today. And I'm Nikki Gangemi. You can connect with me at nikkigangemi.com. Personal trainer for your mind, helping you to quiet that mental chaos, get out of the self-doubt, and step into your inner authority and your leadership.
I don't know if you guys noticed that when Nikki put her hand up to her mind, her bicep was popping out.
I saw that. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Great stuff. I'm easy to find, cforraphael.com. And yes, do crack your code, because when I cracked my code, I realized that your codes can interchange depending on what's going on in your life. So crack your code to know your code. Everybody, God bless you. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody.